Here it is, that glorious moment where you begin programming. If you've never done this before, this is, well, a rite of passage. We're going to create what's called Hello World, and it's the starting point of almost every programming language. I'm going to go through this super slow just because I'm going to assume this is your first time doing this. Before you, we have Qt Creator installed and ready to go. We've already created some very blank Qt and C++ apps just to run them and make sure everything works as expected. If you skip those steps and you hit any issues, rewind and watch the previous videos. Okay, so first things first, we're going to create a new project. And we've done this before. You can either go to File, New, or you can just click this New button on the Welcome tab. I'm going to click New. Make sure you're in Application Qt and go to Qt Console Application. Click Choose. Put it in whatever folder you want and give it a name. So this is Qt 6 Core Beginners. This is Lesson 3.1. Feel free to name this whatever you want, but I'm going to use a standard naming convention that lines up with the video. Hit Next. Build system gets a little bit confusing. Other videos and a lot of my historical videos, you've seen me use QMake. We're going to use CMake. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is, and we're going to cover this in later videos, but QMake is Qt's proprietary build system, and in Qt 6, they're moving away from that to CMake. They're still going to have and support QMake, but they're no longer going to continue to develop it. So in future versions of Qt, this will start to phase out and eventually go away as they favor CMake. But you can use whatever build system you want. We're going to use CMake. We don't need a translation file because all of these videos will be in English. And then kit selection. You may see other things, but really what you want is Desktop Qt 6. Doesn't matter if it's 6.1 or 6.5 or whatever version's out there now. And just ignore this last little bit where it says GCC 64-bit. This tells you the compiler along with the bit level we're compiling. Most modern compilers should be 64-bit. Hit Next, and project management. We're not going to use any source code control, but if you wanted to, you could definitely set it up and use it here. And finish. The IDE is going to do a lot of parsing. You see all those green boxes that popped up here. If you had a red one, that means something bad happened and you need to figure out what it is. That's where Google really becomes your friend. So overall project structure, you have your project and you can collapse this down. Because it's bold, it is the default project, and when we run this, it will run. If we go ahead and run it now, absolutely nothing's going to happen. I mean, it'll show it on the screen, but it doesn't look like it's doing anything. And in the background, it's actually running. It's just running in what's called an application loop, meaning it's sitting there waiting for instructions. Now, again, let's go into project and run. We've covered this in a previous video, but if you can't get the terminal to run, or if you don't want to run it in the terminal, you uncheck that box. You go to Projects, Run, and then uncheck Run in Terminal. Now when you run this, it will run in this application pane. You see we've already got a tab here with our project name. And you could just, if you wanted to, click this green button instead of going over here. Does the same thing, but you notice how it's still popping open a terminal. Why is that? Well, let's jump out of here. Let's save it. So I'm going to hit Control S on the keyboard, or you can go down and, well, do a save all. Let's run it again. Now notice there is no pop-up window. It's just running right here in the IDE. Doesn't really matter which way you do it, just make sure you understand the difference between the two. I'm going to hit stop. Now, I'm not sure if you noticed, but there's this little guy over here, and if I run this again, it's a green arrow with a bug. It's the same guy here. It's the debug mode. We showed this in a previous video where basically debug is going to go through the application line by line. And when I say line by line, I mean the actual computer code in the background. It's going to line it up to the instructions on the screen. Very slow way of doing it, and it's a little bit more advanced than what we're going to cover. So just as a de facto, I'm going to run these in a terminal so we see that nice actual screen pop up like that. So let's pick this program apart. We've got our project name, we have the cmakelist.txt, and let's crack this open. This is the CMake file. What this does is really tell CMake how to build the application, and a lot of this is going to look like, well, ancient Greek. We're going to play around with this a little bit in future videos, but right now just leave it as the default. Basically what we're doing is we're saying, here's the project, here's the language we're going to use. We're going to use C++ version 11. You can switch this to 17 or even 20, whatever you have installed, but the default on my box is 11. And then we're going to find packages. In case you're wondering what this find package is doing, it's really right here, these CMake modules. You can expand that out. This is cute. This is actually what we're importing to build this program. So a simple little program has all of these things that we're relying on. That's what I mean by it's not very easy. And well, most programming languages hide the complexity. And with C++, the complexity is right in your face. So I'm just going to collapse that out because we don't really need to deep dive in there. The main takeaway here is add executable. We have an executable name, and you see this main.cpp. What that is our main file. This is the entry point for our application. And when we flip over, here is that file. This is the actual source code. This is C++. Now, if we were to change this file, you see how it's got this little asterisk next to the file name? That means the file has been changed. If I save that, you'll see it's going to parse and rescan it. If there's ever a little red box there, that means something bad happens. So let's go ahead and simulate that. I'm just going to type some garbage in there and hit S. You see, there's a problem. Cannot configure because it can't parse it. And when we see it in here, we can see there's a little parser error, and it's telling us what we did wrong. It's expecting the bracket, and instead it got some weird text. So I'm going to take that out, save it again, and this time it'll have a good parse. Now, back in our main.cpp, let's pick apart this application. We have an include, which is basically C++'s way of saying, go grab this code that someone else wrote, which is in one of these modules, and these are included based off our, you guessed it, cmakelist.txt. It's actually right here in core. So we're grabbing the Qt 6, and Qt 5 components core, and we're saying it's required to build this. All right, back in our main file here, we're going to use core application. We have int, main, and some arguments. And I don't expect you to understand what any of this stuff is. Just understand when you see this word here, main, this is the entry point of our program. This is where our program's actually going to start running. And then we have some instructions. So we're saying core application, we're creating a variable. We'll talk about variables in another video. Just understand we're creating something. And we're passing some information to it, telling it how to create it. Then we're going to return a.exec. And if all of this seems super confusing, don't worry, we haven't covered it. This is just simply the entry point. Just kind of absorb this like a sponge. Really what we're doing is we're starting our program, we're using code that somebody else written, and we're just going to do something with it. So let's go ahead and let's add in some stuff here. You're going to see me do this from time to time where I'm going to copy off the screen and paste it in. So what are we covering? Hello world. Why? Because this is the starting point in every language. How? Well, we have the main function, the includes, the Qt core app, and exec, CMake and CMake modules. All of these we've covered. Now let's go ahead and add in, I'm going to include QDebug. QDebug is, well, a special set of classes that really lets us output to the screen. And we're going to do this the easiest way possible. QDebug has certain functions that we can call. Now, a function is just a set of computer code that we can run. And we're going to cover these in depth. But right now, we're just going to take a giant leap of faith. I'm going to say QInfo. Hello world. So what we're doing here is we're saying, hey, take this function, this bit of code, and we're going to shove some information into it. And we're going to shove the string hello world. Now you notice this little bracket at the end here, and it's at the end of every single line. That's denoting it's the end of the statement. If we forget that, well, C++ is going to be very unhappy with us. And you can see expecting a semicolon after expression, meaning C++ is smart enough to know that, hey, this is not one expression. it's going to stop reading whenever it sees this semicolon here. So let's go ahead and add that. And now it's smart enough to know that, hey, this is the expression right here. Pretty cool, huh? Now we're going to go ahead and build, and it's down here. It's this little hammer, and you can also just right click and do it, where you can build or run CMake or deploy, so on. So we're just going to build. I'm going to click this little hammer. And what's happening in the background here is, well, the compiler's running. Let's go ahead and clear that out. And I'm going to clean this. And then I'm going to rebuild. And this is the compiler actually compiling. We've talked about this a little bit, where it's going to take our source code here, run some things on it. We're doing a build, and then it's running mock, meaning the meta object compiler, and it's generating those object files based off of our code. Now you notice how there's 2 object files, but there's only 1 code file. So what's happening here is mock, the meta object compiler, is generating this for us. It's all that stuff that happens in the background magically that we don't even know about. And then the code that we wrote is being generated into an object file. And then the linker comes in and links everything into an executable named after our project. Whew, that's a lot to take in, but really it's pretty simple. It's just going to take all of the code, compile it, link it, and, well, create an application that will run. Ta-da! Hello world. Now, if you've got some sort of error message on the screen, chances are either you forgot the semicolon, in which case, let's go ahead and simulate that. So I'm going to try and run this, and you're going to notice it's going to build, and it's going to fail, and it's going to say something like expected semicolon after expression, expected semicolon before return. So it really highlights on the screen what the problem is here. And it even tells you, hey, right here, this little arrow is pointing where the problem is. So we'll just add that in. Or if you just kind of omitted this, see if I can cut that. And now let's give it a good build. Notice how it builds, and it may actually run for us. Sometimes this is included in Qt, sometimes it's not, and we have to add it. I got lucky and it's there. I'm going to go ahead and kill that, clean this, and give it a good rebuild. And I got lucky. It's just going to work. However, when in doubt, you should include what you need. So this is our program in its entirety. Hello world. All this thing does is it just simply displays the text hello world. I wouldn't go as far as saying now you're officially a programmer, but hey, at least you've made a program. Congratulations.